Hello students, and today what we are going to learn is about the file operations that we can perform by using this C programming. So we know what is a file. Say for example, when we just want to store anything inside a computer, everything is in a format of a file. So what are all the operations that we can just perform by using the C programming respectively with respect to these files, and what are all the functions that support these file operations, and how the file operations are performed by using this C programming. This is what we are going to see in this lecture. Now when you see this file, right, so file, we can say that it is a repository means it is a storage where it is residing inside the secondary memory. So when you say that it is a secondary memory, we can say that it is a hard disk. So the files are stored inside the secondary memory, being a permanent storage, right, being a permanent storage. So why do we say that it is a permanent storage? Is even if the power goes off, the data will remain inside the disk, and once again if the power comes on, and you will be able to work with that file if it is being stored. So these files consist of some data. Generally file is something which has some data. It can consist of any types of data. So normally when you look into these types of files, these types of files can be just denoted by using those extensions. So once you look into those extensions, you can find what type of file it is. Say for example, if it is a document file, then the extension of the file will be .doc, and when you look into this video file, it will be of the extension .mp4, and if it is an audio file, then we can say that it is of extension .mp3. So a lot of files are there. So each and every file has some extensions which shows that the type of file is something like an text file or an audio file or a video file, whatever it may be. So how we can just operate these files, and how we can just create a file in case of the C programming, and how we can perform the same operations in case of the C programming. That is what we are going to learn. So when you are going for this file operation, we have to just mention the name of the file, because each and every file has a unique name, right? It has an unique name, and even you cannot just store the files of same type with the same name in the root directory or whatever it may be. So we have to just use different file names. When we are trying to save the same file name, then the file will be overwritten if it is of the same type. And when we are using these files in case of the C programming, the very first thing that we have to know here is we need to just mention the file that is to be used, and we have to perform, or we have to just mention the operations what we are going to perform with these files. So when we just want to work with the files with respect to the C programming, a stream is one which acts as an interface, and the streams helps you to operate with the files which are residing inside the secondary memory. So when you say that a stream, it means that it is a logical interface for the file. Means logical interface in the sense it acts as a pathway between you and then the secondary memory, by which the data are being transferred to and fro from the disk towards the operations. Now this stream consists of some kind of storages, because when you say that it is a file, the file must be just stored somewhere inside the memory for the operations. So we use a buffer. So buffer is a temporary storage. We can say that buffer is a temporary storage which can be just used for the operations with respect to this stream. Now you can just clearly view the diagram where it shows the storage devices. So these storage devices are the data which are there inside the secondary memory, and we are having a buffer, right? What we call it as to be the stream or something, where the stream uses the buffer to retrieve the data. So when the data are being transferred, the data are taken from the secondary storage devices, and from the secondary storage devices, this is the secondary storage devices, and from the secondary storage devices, these data are being transmitted towards the buffer, and from the buffer we can just perform a lot of operations inside this buffer. So this is the basic diagram. Now the operations what the user is going to perform will be done with this buffer, and we have a pointer, right? We have a pointer that we call it as to be the file pointer, because this file pointer, it points towards the base of this buffer, and based upon the number of characters what you are just transferring from the file, you can just use this file pointer to read those characters, or you can use this file pointer to write those characters in the specified positions. Now these storage devices where the file is stored and how it is being transferred, it will be taken care of your operating system. We need not worry about how it is being stored and by what methodology it is being stored. It will be completely taken care by this operating system, so we need not worry about this. But what we are going to see this, we are going to use this buffer to retrieve the data from the file which is there inside the disk, and we perform these operations. Now when you look into this file operations, and when you are transferring a file, the transferring of the file, it can be like a stream, right? When you say that it is in a stream mode, it is of character oriented, or sometimes you may also use a disk mode, where this disk mode is a block oriented type. So character oriented in the sense, we know, like you can just transfer the data by character. So we know what is a character, it is a data type. Or similarly, if you are using a disk mode, in this case it is completely like block oriented. So when you say that it is a block oriented, it means that a binary set of datas, means a bits of datas. So when you say that it is a bit, a group of bit, it can be just called as a byte. So a bytes of data can be just transmitted as such directly, like zeros and ones. Now these datas will be just remaining there inside the buffer, and you can perform certain operations, whatever with respect to the C, it will be there inside the buffer. And once if you need back to be stored, then you have to just transfer the data from the buffer towards this storage device, that is the hard disk. And after transferring the data from the buffer, the data will be stored over here. And meanwhile, while operating inside this buffer, if sometimes if the power goes off, then the data what is residing inside the buffer will surely be lost. So the data will be inside the buffer until the users perform flush operations. So there are certain operations which can be just performed like a flush. So we have a special function for this. So once you are performing the flush operations, then from the stream it will be just moving outside. So the data will be inside until it is not using a flush operation, or if the power is in an on state. So we have to just externally use the flush operations to perform the movement of the data if it is needed. Now coming towards this type of streams, there are two types of streams that are available. One is your text stream, and the other one is your binary stream. So these text stream can process the characters, whereas this binary stream can perform the operations directly with respect to this bits. So it is all the collection of bytes. So when you are performing the file operations in case of the C programming, either you can use a text stream, or you can just go for a binary stream. So you can perform the operations with the text files as well as with respect to this binary files. Means when you consider it as a text file, don't imagine like as we are just storing a character where you have a null character at the end of the string. It is not like that. It is not a string, but it consists of some characters, and at the end of the file we have an UOF, which denotes the end of the file. And you should not just think like that it consists of something like a null character at the end of the string. It is not like that. And when you look into this files, the maximum number of characters that can be just put up there is around 255 characters per line. And this 255 characters, after 250 characters we can just move on to the carriage return, which moves on to the next line. And these datas are represented as an internal format or in an external format. So if it is in the case of an internal format, now say for example an integer will be represented as a 2 bytes or a 4 bytes of datas, and suppose if it is in a format of an external, then these text will be stored as a string of characters, as we said, in decimal or in hexadecimal. So that is what we can say, as the text data can be represented as an internal format or as an external format. So if it is an internal format, it is represented as an integer. An integer is represented as in terms of bytes, whereas in case of an external, this is represented as a string of character in a decimal or a hexadecimal. That's it. Now in case of this files, when we just want to convert from the internal format to an external format, we can just use a printf statement as we do, or you can use a fprintf. So these two functions will give you an option to convert it from an internal to an external format. And similarly, conversion from the external to an internal format can be performed either by a scanf or a fscanf. So we can use an fscanf function to convert from the external format to an internal format. And in case of this binary files, remember that there is no conversion. We can just take the binary files as such directly. There is no conversion like an internal or an external conversion, and these binary files are operated directly, and we can perform all the operations directly with respect to this binary files. Now what are all the operations what are all the steps that we have to just perform when we are going for a file operation? So the very first thing, when you just go for a file operation, you have to declare a file pointer, because as we said, when you look into this stream, or when you look into this stream is something like a buffer, as I said. So when you look into that stream, we have a pointer, it returns a pointer. So we need to declare a file pointer variable. We need to declare a file pointer variable, and by using this file pointer variable only, or using this file pointer only, we have to perform the file operations. File operations, it can be just performed like you have a sequential file operations, as well as you have a random file operations. So sequential file operations, in this sense, you start from the beginning you just move towards the next set of characters and move until the end of the file, or else if it is in the case of a random operation, we specify the position randomly. We can use some sort of seek functions where we directly move to that particular position randomly and we just perform those operations. So to perform that, we need a file pointer, because it gives you the index from where the file operations and what operations is to be performed. And when you are going for the file, we need to just open the file. See, this you might have done in case of Python programming. When we just use a Python programming, initially what we do is we just open the file. So similarly here also we open this file. So while opening this file, we need to specify what kind of operations that we are going to perform. Say for example, we can say that as to be the modes in which we are going to use the files. So modes in the sense, I can just use a file in read mode where I am going to perform only the read operations, as well as in case of a write operation, I can perform some sort of contents that is to be written inside this file, or sometimes you can perform both the write as well as the read operation. So this shows the types of operations that we are going to perform with respect to the files. So even you can say this to be the mode, that is a read mode or a write mode or a read and write mode that we say. Now after performing this file operations, after performing this modes, then we just go for the operations that is to be performed with respect to this file. So you may just read some contents from the file, or you may write some contents in the file, or you may append some contents in the file. So these will be called as the file operations. And finally, after performing all the set of operations, what we are going to do here is we are going to use a fclose function, and this fclose function will close the file after the operation is over. So it is not necessary that you have to just always use a fclose function. So once the program exits, means when the main execution is over, the operating system will be calling for an exitof function. So on the exitof function, automatically the file gets closed by the operating system, or else you can also use a fclose function explicitly to close the file for the operations. So how to declare a file pointer and performing the file operations by using that file pointers. So there is an inbuilt structure inside, and we can just create a variable for that structure as if we do normally, right? So we have a inbuilt structure which is called as file, and this file structure, it is defined in the header file stdio.h. So what you can do is we can create a variable, and that will be a pointer variable. So this file pointer variable will be pointing towards the space that has been just created. So once we just call this fopen function, we have to just pass this file pointer inside this fopen function, and this fopen function will create an instance of a file structure, and it will return a pointer to that structure. So how to just create a variable for that structure is, see, this is the structure name, that is a file, that is an inbuilt structure, and we have a variable that has been just created for the structure. So I'm just creating a variable which is called as file pointer. So this is the normal syntax for this. As an example, it is given below, like this is the file structure name and this is the structure variable. So structure variable, here we are using star. It means that this is a pointer to that structure. right? So we are creating a pointer to that structure. So after creating the structure variable, means the file pointer, once it is being created, we need to just use this fopen function. So we can just pass this variable inside this fopen functions to create an instance of the file structure, and that will return a pointer to that structure. Now you see how to just open a file. So opening a file, as we said, we have a file pointer which is being created here. Now this file pointer we'll be just using open function. So this file pointer will point towards this particular location. So what happens here is I'm just passing two set of variables, means two set of values are being passed inside this function. So this fopen function, it accepts two variables, means two values. So the first value is the name of the file, means the name of the file must be just given by using the location also. See, location in the sense I need to specify the path. So initially we have to give the drive in which it is located, and we have to just give the directory in which it is located if it is there, and we have to specify the file name with the extension. So the entire path must be just given in case of the fopen function. That is the first parameter that is being passed, right? So the argument that we are passing over here is the file name with the entire path. And the second one that we have to specify in the case of this fopen function is we need to specify the mode. So fopen, it accepts two argument, one is the path and the other one is the mode. So in the case of this mode, based upon the operations that we are going to perform, say we may perform a read operation, or sometimes I may perform a write operation, or sometimes I may even perform both the write and then the read operations. Maybe in, with respect to text files, or sometimes I may do with respect to binary files. So based upon that, the mode is to be specified. So once the mode is being specified over here, then I can just easily go with the operations. So the same example it is given here, file pointer which is equal to fopen of. Now when you look into these two examples of opening the file, so in this case sometimes what may happen here is certain compiler it may take this as a backslash, and in certain cases the backslashes may not be taken. So what we will do, we will just normally use this escape sequences as slash, backslash and then a backslash, right? So two backslash has been just given over here, and in certain Unix systems sometimes instead of backslash they are also using a slash. That depends upon the operating system that we are just using. So normally in case of this disk operating system, we will just give it as file pointer is equal to fopen of, and we will specify the drive name followed by the directory name if it is there, if it is inside a particular directory, and then we will just specify the name of the file with the extension followed by the mode. So this is the syntax and an example that has been just given for opening a file. And when you look into this modes of the file, you see the fopen function, it accepts two values, means two arguments are passed. One is the path and the other one is we set as a mode. So in the case of this mode, we have like opening a text file for read. So this is read mode, and this is write mode, and this is append mode. So read mode, if the file is just present, it just opens the file, and it just opens the file for reading only. We cannot just perform a write operation there. So we have to specifically use the read functions to read the contents from the file. And similarly we can just perform the write operations. So if the file is not present, automatically a file will be created, as we might have done in case of the Python. If the file is not present, it will automatically create a file, and the file will be just ready to write, and you can write the contents inside the file. Similarly, appending a file means some contents may be already present in the file, So you may need to add some more content to the file, so that you can just use an append function. And these RB, WB, AB, it corresponds to the binary file. So this RB opens a binary file for reading, and this is for writing inside the binary file, and this is for appending inside the binary file. And similarly we have R plus, W plus and A plus. So this performs both the read as well as the write operation. R plus, right? So it performs both the read as well as the write operations in case of the C programming. So like this, A plus, it append or create a text file for reading as well as the writing. And similarly the same can be performed with respect to the binary file also, where you can perform both the read and write operation. So the syntax, when you are specifying the mode inside the argument, you have to just give it as R plus B. So these are all some of the modes that are present in case of the fopen function. So now this is a small example that is given over here. So I am declaring a character which is named as name, and the variable name is name, and it accepts 80 characters. Means this is something like a string, array of characters. It is called as a string. So in this step, what I am doing here is I am creating a file pointer. So file pointer is created, means this is an inbuilt structure. To the structure I am creating a variable that is a pointer to that structure. So once it is being created, what I am doing here is I am just asking the user to enter the file name. Means what kind of file, means the name of the file that is to be opened here, it is specified. And using this getAs function, we know that this getAs function will get the string. So normally the file name will be just entered with the extension. So the getAs function will get it, and we just it gets in this name, and the string name will be passed inside this fopen function. So once this fopen function gets executed, this fp, it will automatically point towards the file. So we are just opening this file in the write mode. So we will specify the name over here. Since it is already accepted as a string, I am not using a double quotes over here. This is already a string which has been just the value has been updated by using this getAs function. Now once I am just passing this, see in this case, one thing what I have to remember here is I am not mentioning any path of the file. I am not specifying any path of the file. We are specifying only the name of the file. So this program will work only if you are just placing the file in the present working directory. Present working directory, or we say that it is the current working directory, means where you are just saving your C file and you are executing the same C file, the location in which your C file is located. So the file what you are trying to open here, the file what you are going to open here must be the present working directory, must be the present working directory where you are working with the file that you are just going to execute, the C file that you are going to execute. So unless or otherwise, if you are not using the present working directory, if you are going to use some other location, then at that time you have to specify the path of the file from the drive directory, and then the file name with the extension. Now what happens during the fopen, when you are executing the fopen function, what is going to happen? So when you are using an fopen function, right, so sometimes what may happen here is you may give some invalid file name also, right? Sometimes inside the program, during the execution of the program, you may give some invalid file names. So when I am giving an invalid file name, then what is going to happen here is the fopen function cannot just open that file, because the file name may be different. I might have misspelled the file name, so there may be a error due to this invalid file name. And similarly, when you are using a fopen function, you may try to open a file that is inside a disk which is not ready. Means sometimes the disk may not be ready for the storing of the files. Means some kind of scan disk or the check disk, or even the partition might have not been performed in that disk. So if you try to open a file in that particular type of disk, then there is an error. And similarly, when you are going for the opening of the file, sometimes you may try to open a file which is not present itself, right? So the file may not be there in that particular location, so that will also cause an error. And sometimes we may try to open a file in an invalid directory, means the file may be present in some other directory, and I will try to open a file in another directory, so that may be an error. So these errors may happen when you are going for the execution using this fopen function. So what happens here is, when you are using an fopen function, if this error comes, then automatically this fopen function will return a null value. This will return a null value. So the file pointer what I am using here will get a null value. So fopen, on returning this null value, the null value will be stored here in this file pointer, because this is a pointer variable. The pointer variable can accept a null value, that we have already learned in case of the pointers. So pointer variable is a variable that will normally point towards a memory location that we know. So that is why we say that it is pointing towards the buffer. It is pointing towards the buffer, means the buffer is a temporary memory only. It is a temporary memory. It is a small storage. So when you are using a fopen function, what happens here is, this fopen function, if the file is not present, as per the previous cases like this, no, we have certain cases we have discussed. So these are all the error cases. So when this error cases it happens, a null value will be written, and this null value will be stored in the case of this file pointer. And finally, what I am doing here is, I am checking this file pointer whether it is equal to a null value, and if it is equal to a null value, it means that the file cannot be opened, and we perform an exit operation, right? We perform an exit operation, since the file cannot be just opened due to some of the reasons what you have specified in the previous slide. And suppose if it is not the case, means if you are not getting a null value, and if it is returning some other value other than this null, then it means that it is a success one. Then we just move on to the else part. So this is an if condition, and in the else condition what you can do is, we can perform the file operations, right? So similarly for closing a file, right? So whatever files that we have just opened, we need to just close this, but it is not a mandatory, because once you perform an exit of function, the operating system will automatically close that file. So what happens is, we can use a fclose function, though. So this fclose function is used to close the file after the process. So once your process is over, it automatically closes this. So the syntax it is given here, int fclose of, and we pass the variable, that is the file pointer over here. So file star fp. So this returns 0 on success, and it returns -1 on an error. So this function fclose, it returns a 0 if it is closing it properly, and sometimes if it is not closing properly, maybe due to some of the IO error or something that happens inside the file, and it may return a -1 value on an error. And once you are just performing the exit operation, right? Once you are just ending the closing the file, means we are closing this file by using this fclose. So the stream are flushed. Stream are flushed in the sense, the contents which are there inside the buffer may be just put inside the disk, and the exit operations will happen after that. So this flush, we have a special function which is called as flush. So this flush function, it is used to write the buffer into a disk. So we have the contents inside the buffer, and the buffer contents will be just written into the disk. So these are all some of the functions that are associated with the text file in the C programming. So we have a lot of file operations, and we have a lot of functions that is to be used when you just want to perform those file operation. So we are going to read the text files, and we have certain functions to write inside the text files. So these are all the functions. In case of a read text file, we can use a fscanf, So reading from the file and writing into the text file, you can use fprintf, right? Means we are going to print inside the file. So reading from the file, so fscanf. So writing inside the file, that is fprintf. And similarly, reading from the text file as a string. So when you just want to get it as a string, then we can just use a fgetAs function. And similarly, when you just want to write inside the file as a string format, then you can use a fputas function. And similarly, this fgetc, it is one more function that reads the file character by character. So you can get the values and you can just use it for further operations. And similarly, when you just want to write inside the file character by character, then you can use a fputc function where it will just write inside the file character by character. And as a whole, when you just want to read the entire file, we can use a fread function. And similarly, when you just want something like inside the write something inside the file, you can also use a fwrite function. So we will be just seeing some examples related with all these set of function like fprintf, fputas, fgetc, fread, etc., etc. So this is one particular function that we have seen in the previous slide, like putc, which is used to write the file. So we need to just write something inside the file. So this will write character by character. So the syntax of this putc function is, we need to just pass what is the characters that is to be inserted over here, and we will specify the file pointer. We will specify the file pointer, because without the file pointer the operations cannot be performed. So initially the file pointer will be pointing towards the beginning of the buffer, and once you are just inserting the character, it automatically increments. It keep on incrementing, and at the end of the file is reached, then it will just stop. So this fputc is used to write a single character at a time to the given file, and once the character is being inserted inside, and it automatically increments the pointer, and it returns the character, that is the ch, that is written in case of the successful write operation. And suppose if it is not written properly, then it returns an error, means that EOF, that is the end of the file, is returned. Okay. So this is a simple example that is given, right? So what we are going to do is, we are going to write something inside the file. We are going to write something inside the file using this function what we have specified here, that is this putc function. So this putc function will put the characters inside this file one by one, and this is one particular slide where we have an example program. So initially I have declared this main function, and I have declared a file, that is a file pointer. So this is the structure, and to this structure I have created a pointer. So this is pointer to this structure, and the next one is I am having a character. So text is being declared as a character, where it can accept 80 characters, means a line of string. So I am declaring two integers, one is inc for executing this for loop. So we will look into this, why this for loop is executed, right? So what I am doing here is, I am opening the file. So we know how to open the file. So I am just going to enter something there inside the file. So the file name what I am giving here is, I am giving it as abc.txt. That is the file name what I am giving here. So this is the file name. So if you want to specify the location, you can also specify the location. So this file location is given over here, and we are specifying the mode of the file. So I am giving it as in write mode. So once the operation is success, right? Once the operation is success, means if it is not returning a null value, then the operation is success. So the file is being created, and a pointer fp is pointing towards the file. Now I am entering the text. So entering the text, in the sense, you can use a scanf statement. So I have declared a text which is as a string. So this is going to get the string input. So I am going to get the string input. So total number of characters it can accept is 80. So what happens here is, in this case I have normally in case of the string we will specify it as percentage yes. Now in this case what I am specifying here is a backslash n, means that this will accept input until you press the enter key, right? So until you specify the enter key, what happens here is keeps on accepting the character. So we have to give a cap symbol and then a backslash n. So until an enter key is pressed, this will accept the input and it stores inside this text. Now what I am doing here is I am executing a for loop. So this for loop will execute for 10 times. Remember that it is starting from 1 till 10. So this execute for 10 times. So on each execution of the C for loop, inside this for loop I am having one more for loop, that is an I loop is executed. So when you look into this I loop, you see I am just starting from a value as 0, means from the 0th position of the file till the end of the file. So text of I in the sense until you find a null value, right? So until you find the end of the file where you don't have any characters to be read. So until that we keep on incrementing this I value, right? So starting from text of 0, text of 1, text of 3, text of 4, etc., etc., it keeps on reading. So this for loop will terminate when there is no characters that is to be read. Remember that when you are using a file, we don't have any null character, that is a backslash 0, even though if it is a string. So when there is no characters to be read, this for loop will terminate. So until that it keeps on incrementing this I value. So each time I get the value like text of I. So means text of 0, text of 1, text of 2, etc., etc., until there is no characters to be read. Now these characters one by one it will be just inserted by using this putc function. So we know putc is a function where we insert this particular character and we are specifying the file pointer in which we are going to insert. So automatically on putting this character, this file pointer, this putc function will insert this character inside the file and this file pointer will increment automatically. Okay, so this will just run from the starting 0th character till there is no characters to be read. That is why we are giving it as text of I. Remember that. Okay, and this for loop consists of only one line below this. So these two will get executed. These two lines means this is the only line which is under this for loop. So once the for loop reads the entire set of characters until it finds that there is no characters to be read, it stops the execution. Then what happens here is we are putting a backslash n, right? You see this is a putc function. So in this putc at the end of the line I am putting a backslash n, means that a new line character is inserted and the file pointer in the file pointer where I am just pointing. So automatically this line is being written and after that line this moves on to the next line. Okay, then once again this will get executed. So totally how many times this for loop will execute is, it will execute for 10 times. This will execute for 10 times. So on each time of the execution what happens here is this line is printed inside the file. Okay, this line is printed inside the file. So what line is the line what I am entering here, the text, right? The text line is inserted. So how many times it will be inserted is, so it will be inserted for 10 times because this for loop execute for 10 times. And finally after the execution is over I just close this file and I just stop the execution. Okay, now you see this is an example. Now I'm going to store this file. Now you see I have created a folder which is named as Einstein, right? This is a folder which is named as Einstein, and this is where this folder is created. This folder is created in the E drive. Okay, this folder is created in the E drive. So on execution, right? On the execution, the file will be created in this Einstein. Means where this Einstein is located is, this Einstein is located in the E drive. So in the E drive, Einstein is a folder, and inside this folder we are going to create this. File. Okay. So now you see I am creating a file over here, and there is no file initially, right? So this is the path E:Einstein. There is no file initially, so I am going to create a file by using this C programming. Now you see I have typed the program here. So the program what I have just explained in the previous slide. So I have specified the path over here. So the path is specified, means E:Einstein something, this is the folder and this is the file name txt, and I am executing this for loop. So this will accept the character and the for loop execute for 10 times, and after executing the line will be printed. The line what I am just entering over here, it will be printed for 10 times, right? So for I is equal to 0, until there is no characters to be read, this file keeps on executing. And what happens here is, each time what happens, these characters will be just inserted inside the corresponding file pointers. So text of 0, text of 1, text of 2, etc., until there is no characters to be read. So a line will be inserted using this put C. Then moving on to the new line, then after that I use this fclose function to close this file. So totally how many times this for loop will execute? It is for 10 times. Okay. So on execution, now the execution is going to happen. Now you see I am executing this file. So I am entering the text, right? So entering the text. So Einstein College of Engineering. So I am typing the text. I am pressing an enter. Okay. So on pressing this enter, the characters might have been read, because this will accept the character until an enter key is present. Correct? That you have already said. Now will you see I am going to this location. So in this location I have a file which is being created, that is sample. I am opening this. Now you see the file has the content what I have just given here, there it has been just written. So 10 times Einstein College of Engineering has been printed. Okay. So this is a simple example where we have just created a file, and we have just inserted some contents inside the file. We have inserted a contents inside the file inside a particular location, and we have just written some contents. So based upon the execution of the for loop, the contents are being inserted inside also. So this is a simple example. So you can try this example inside your own system also. See, I have just used Dev C++. This is a software that is available. You can download this Dev C++, Dev C++, and you can just open a new file and you can just start executing this file also, right? Or else you can use this Turbo C if it is available for the Windows version, and you can just execute and create the file, and you can just see how the file is being created and what are the contents that has been just written inside the file. Okay, thank you.